second American now has died climbing Mount Everest as overcrowding creates new dangers for thrill seekers looking to conquer the world's tallest mountain.
Amazing story there. Also finding himself on the other side of the law, Michael Avenatti doing court today on charges of wire fraud and extortion. A live report from U.S. District Court on his case is straight ahead. Just getting word from the U.S. Supreme Court, a ruling. Our producer Bill Mears reports the following. Moments ago, the court upheld a lower court ruling blocking part of an Indiana abortion law signed by then-Governor Mike Pence. That banned the procedure based on gender or disability. A federal appeals court had then struck down that part of the law, and the Supreme Court decided not to review that decision. It was limited, compromise decision with the High Court making clear it expressed no views on the larger questions presented, including whether or not the law imposes a, quote, undue burden on a woman's right to obtain an abortion. Separately, the justices, in an unsigned opinion, reinstated a separate part of the state law dealing with disposal of fetal remains. The decision just handed down. We expect more and more on this ruling as well. Andrew Napolitano, the judge, is here in about 30 minutes, and we'll get his take on this. So stay tuned for that breaking news.
Now on to this. An American man, the 11th person to die while climbing Mount Everest this year alone. 62-year-old Chris Coolish from Colorado died Monday after reaching the summit. A Utah man and a Brit both died last week. There are growing concerns about overcrowding. The crush of people trying to climb the summit is causing traffic jams and leaving climbers stuck and exhausted in thin air.
I can't see someone trying to manage a traffic jam like that in the Hillary steps. It's very complicated. You are near 8,800 meters. It's like it's quite impossible. It's very cold and very hard to try to manage this.
Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott is live in our London bureau with this story. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Sandra, this is a wild one. It is one of the deadliest climbing seasons in years on the world's highest mountain. And yes, Americans are involved. Chris Coolish, coming from Colorado, as you mentioned, died just yesterday. He joins 55-year-old Donald Cash from Utah, who was killed last week. 2 of the 11 who have died on the mountain just in the last 2 weeks. The cause of the deaths, mainly altitude sickness as a combination of lack of oxygen, exhaustion, dehydration. Experts blame a number of reasons for the spike in the casualties. First, you got to admit the daunting nature of the task itself. Mount Everest is over 29,000 feet tall, well, treacherous under any circumstances. But weather this year, including some very high winds, was bad, causing a backup of people getting ready to climb. And then when they got on the mountains, well, you're seeing the images, the sheer number of climbers causing a gridlock on the side of these mountains. 381 permits were allowed this year by Nepal, one of the countries adjoining the mountain, at $11,000 apiece. It's now agreed by that country. Plus the inexperience of the climbers. Once a scene of only skilled mountain climbers, one observer said, now we're in the age of the selfie, even on Mount Everest. Experts are calling for a tighter control, again, on the number of permits being given out and screening the climbers a little better. But maybe more folks should just be looking up at the summit instead of going up. Back to you, Sandra.
Greg Palcott, what a story. Hammer and I are sitting here looking at that picture alone of the trail of